All right, you guys, what's going on? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ryan Phipps, and it's my current mission to mentor driven people to a successful future by using fitness as the gateway. And I have a very special video planned out for you guys today. I'm going to give you the complete guide to calories and macros, the complete guide to understanding how to change your physique, specifically through the lens of nutrition. Now, I'm going to break this down in a way that anybody can understand. So let's dive in. And to start with today specifically, I want to tell you a little bit of a story and why I learned about nutrition initially. So when I first got into the gym, I really wanted to learn how to gain muscle, right? I was a skinny soccer player growing up, and when I stopped playing soccer, I really wanted to learn how to build a lean, athletic physique. So I got the working out part down pretty quickly, right? Being a former athlete, it was actually something that I always enjoyed going to the gym. I always kind of had that internal drive for success through my sport, and I feel like that carried over pretty well into fitness specifically, but I still really wasn't seeing the results I wanted, even though I was consistent in the gym. Now, I'm an online fitness coach, and I work with a lot of people in a similar context who are going to the gym feeling like they're wasting their time, so to speak. And really the main lever that they need to flip is nutrition. So I didn't solve this for myself until I did that research on nutrition. As you can see here, this is kind of when I was much before a business owner, just kind of like falling in love with fitness, with nutrition, and just kind of teaching myself so many of these things. And this was a lot of the research that I had all over my walls back when I was nerding out about this. And a lot of this is what I'm going to be sharing with you today specifically, not just about building muscle, but also losing weight. So let's dive into this. And again, what we're going to be going over is very fundamental things in terms of nutrition. If you can understand these things, you are going to be in the top 1% of people in terms of knowledge when it comes to nutrition, right? And I'm going to break this down in a way that anybody can understand. Do not click off of this video, even if you have no idea what a calorie or a macro is or any of this type of stuff, right? I'm going to solve all of this for you. So let's dive in. To start with, what are calories? So calories are just a unit of energy. It's important to understand that everything we do burns calories, right? Breathing, tapping your foot at your desk if you're sitting there at work or at school, obvious things like working out, going on walks, all of those things burn calories. We need those calories to stay alive. They're our energy, right? And believe it or not, most of the calories we burn are not actually from working out. It's from something called our basal metabolic rate, which is basically just what our bodies need to exist and carry out its natural functions, right? Breathing, heart beating, keeping your blood circulating, repairing cells, all of that good natural stuff that's kind of involuntary, right? And we also burn calories while breaking down food, but not as much as you might think, right? This is a breakdown of this, right? This is, again, the basal metabolic rate or 70% of the calories that we burn come from this, those involuntary things, again, the breathing, kind of the tapping, blood circulating, that type of stuff. Physical activity only makes up 20% of that, and digestion of food or the thermic effect of food is only 10%, right? So something important to understand, again, all you need to kind of pull from this to jump to the next segment of understanding is calories are a unit of energy that we get from food, and there's a few different ways that we burn those calories. Digesting food, physical activity, and then basal metabolic rate. Just again, those things we went over, like blood circulating, breathing, etc. So what you need to understand, but in a fitness context, right? Why are calories important for seeing fitness results, right? I want to make it very clear. We are here to build a lean physique. That means lean muscle with a low ratio of fat, right? So this is where I'm going to slow down and where we're going to really start to understand why this is important, why there's so much emphasis around calories and macros and all of that good stuff when it comes to fitness, right? So to start with, maintenance calories. So this is the amount of calories we need to eat daily to stay the same exact weight, right? So let me break this misconception for you. There's no such thing as the perfect food, right? You're not going to choose brown rice over white rice and all of a sudden just start losing weight, right? It comes down to calories, right? So if we eat at our maintenance calories, we stay the same. Picture it like a line like this, right? Eating at maintenance means we stay the same. If we eat an amount above that maintenance, we're in a calorie surplus and we're going to gain weight, right? It doesn't matter if you're eating all McDonald's, all chicken and rice, or all salad. If you're eating more calories than that, you're going to gain weight. And if you eat below that maintenance number, you're going to lose weight or be what's in a calorie deficit. So picture a line right here. You eat at that number or around that number, weight will stay the same. Any amount above it, and you'll gain weight. Any amount below it, and you'll be in a calorie deficit and lose weight. So very important to pull that concept as we move on to understanding this. So let's take this a layer deeper and just kind of give us a little bit of an example, right? Let's say, for example, my maintenance calories are 3,000. Let me see if I can move this out of the way. Perfect. Stay with me for a sec here. Cool. So let's say, for example, my maintenance calories are 3,000. Now, this is a real example from a transformation that I took myself through. Long story short, gained weight on purpose, lost it just to kind of educate myself about fat loss. That's a story for another day or another video if you want to scroll through and find that. So let's say my maintenance calories were 3,000. Again, that line, right? If I wanted to gain more weight, I would eat more than 3,000 calories, right? If I wanted to lose weight, I would eat something like 2,700 calories because it's less than 3,000, right? Now something, we'll dive into more, but I want to say too, is the more above that number. So, if I went from 3,000 to 4,000 calories, I'd gain weight faster. And if I went from 3,000 calories to like 1,000, I'd lose weight faster. Now, that's not as great as you might think, and we'll go over that, but I want to say that's how this works too. But just putting some numbers to this again. And it's important to understand too, everyone's maintenance calories are different. But putting numbers to this, my maintenance right here was 3,000 calories, right? I wanted to lose weight, so I ate less than 3,000 calories. Again, everyone's maintenance is different, but there are some important things to know kind of based on that as well, right? For fat loss specifically, most people hear about a calorie deficit and think, great, I'll just eat as little as I can so I can lose weight as fast as I can. And the truth is that is what would happen, but you actually don't want to do that because not only are you going to lose weight fast, but a lot of it's going to be muscle, right? So you might lose, let's say 20 pounds on the scale, but you're just going to be a smaller version of yourself. This is how people end up skinny fat, right? Let's say that, I'm 200 pounds and I want to get to 170, but I just do it really quickly. Well, I could lose that 30 pounds and look the exact same. I might not look leaner. And obviously that's very discouraging to do because you starved yourself and you still don't look lean, even though you're down, 30 pounds on the scale or whatever it might be. In addition to that, you're also going to downregulate your metabolism when you go back to eating more. So basically, even if you lose the 30 pounds, the second you go back to quote unquote normal eating, you're going to gain the weight back, right? So this approach is extremely unsustainable and your body's just, it's not going to be getting close to what it needs. So you're not going to be able to stay there. Never met anybody who's been able to starve themselves for their whole life successfully with no negative repercussions, right? Let's make that commonsensical here. So instead, what you'll want to do is aim for a small to moderate calorie deficit to maximize fat loss and to keep muscle, right? So for example, putting that to numbers again, the 3,000 calories that I said, dropping down to 2,700, it's enough to make a difference, right? But it's not enough for me to really start losing muscle, to starve myself, to be, extremely hungry all the time, right? And that's what a lot of people get wrong and what a lot of people mess up when it comes to being in a calorie deficit. They're way too extreme with it. Now, we'll switch gears and talk about muscle gaining as well. So a lot of people hear the same thing, right? They hear about a calorie surplus and they eat way above that maintenance with the hopes of gaining weight fast. But if you do that, yes, you'll put on weight fast, but the problem is most of it is going to be body fat, right? And you don't want that if you're trying to build a lean physique. When I was skinny, the idea of putting on 30, 40 pounds. Oh, that sounds great, right? But nobody wants to put on 30, 40 pounds of fat, right? So there is a patience aspect of this. So very similar to maximize the lean muscle gain. You're going to want a small to moderate surplus with that as well. So all of this to say, just to simplify it again, don't go for the extremes. You're trying to lose weight, don't be in a huge calorie deficit. Don't starve yourself. You're trying to slowly build a lean physique from a skinnier place. Most likely you're going to be much better off just small, consistent surplus there. So the easiest way to actually change your physique using these methods is to track your calories, right? You can start for free by downloading an app like MyFitnessPal. This is what I give my clients specifically and what they use to transform. And as an example of this, I want to tell you about my client, Jay. So Jay started working with me because he didn't know what to eat for his goals, right? He'd tried tracking his calories before, but he used the wrong maintenance number, right? So he was using the calorie tracking system, but had the wrong maintenance number. So he didn't see the results he wanted. And he was stuck in a cycle for a while, right? He wanted a system that would help him lose weight so he could keep up with his kids as he aged. That was his intrinsic motivation for taking this fitness journey on for himself and his loved ones. And after going through the system, using the exact principles that we're speaking about here today, he lost 45 pounds. He's using a system that's built for his busy lifestyle. He's an entrepreneur, a father of four, very busy guy, right? This is a system that will work for anybody, whether you're that busy or not, right? And now he's leading his family by being a health role model, and his wife literally thanked him for leading the charge in health for their family, right? So this system is literally working to change real people's lives, and that's exactly what I'm giving you here today. So, and here's how you can use this to make your own progress as well, right? So again, let's kind of reflect on what we just spoke about. Calories control weight. If you're eating at your maintenance number, your weight's going to stay the same. If you're going to be below that number, you're going to lose weight. And if you're above that number, you're going to gain weight. And if you're looking for a completely done for you system, consider joining the High Performance Challenge that I'm hosting this November. There'll be a link down below to that. And this is a little bit of an overview or insight into the system that we use, right? Let's say you have the goal, like my client Jay I just showed you, of losing 45 to 50 pounds. I take that information and reverse engineer that into our system. So on your daily dashboard, your custom app, you're going to get tasks, a few tasks every day that, if completed, and not perfectly, right? You don't have to be 100% perfect, but just more consistent than not. Through completing these few tasks every day over a period of time, I think this was maybe 3 to 6 months, he completed these tasks, tracked his food as well, like we're talking about. It's all in this dashboard, all in the system, right? You can see the macro targets he had. Just for example, let's say that we determined, okay, you should be eating 2,900 calories, 200 grams of protein, right? This is the exact system that we can use to do that. So all of this is done for you, right? He completed the few exercises, he tracked his food, and really, on average, it takes somebody with no nutrition experience only 4 to 6 weeks to understand this. So just through this system, he was able to lose 45 pounds. So if that sounds interesting to you, consider clicking the link down below, just checking it out. Moving on. So a little bit of a halftime, right? So we're going to talk about macros now. I was going to split this into 2 videos, but honestly just want to condense it and give it all to you guys at once. So this is going to be, like I said, the most complete guide. I've comprised so many hours of research into this, just really looking to simplify it for you guys. But let's reflect for a second before we add a layer onto this. So calories are weight control, right? That number of calories, more than maintenance, gain weight. Less calorie deficit means you're going to lose weight. But now let's talk about macros, because like we spoke about before, it's not just about losing 30 pounds to look the same, gaining 30 pounds and gaining fat. Like, we want to get lean actually. So calories, weight, macros, how we look, or body composition. So what are macros? Well, macros is just short for macronutrients. The 3 main macronutrients are carbs, protein, and fats. Those make up any diet. That's why I love this, because it's not keto. It's not cutting out, all carbs. It's not animal based, making sure that, the chicken wore a gold crown while, it was in the process of being, made into food or whatever. Atkins, vegan, whatever. This is just using fats, protein, and carbs in the way that they were intended. I think it's such a perfect example, right? So much money and time and all that type of stuff has gone into diet research. If we had the perfect one, there wouldn't be a trend diet every single year, right? So macros, great dieting approach, flexible, just gives you freedom to eat the foods that are there that you're already likely enjoying, right? So macros build up all diets. I rarely even consider it a diet. It's more of just a system for food, right? So calorie surplus and calorie deficits are made of macros. Doesn't matter, right? So, whoever in your life has said they've completely cut out carbs and lost weight really easily, and they're just in a calorie deficit, right? That's it, right? And the person, I'm drinking this protein shake and I'm packing on muscle, they're just in a calorie surplus. Wouldn't happen without that. So this is the ratio that I recommend for most of my clients who start with me, and it would be beneficial for you as well. Once you have that maintenance number of calories, this is the ratios that you should be shooting for of macros to comprise that, right? So let's say, again, 3,000 calories for me, my maintenance, 40% of that would come from carbs, 30 from fat, 30 from protein. That's a really good kind of generic recommendation that I would make for anybody. Now, why are macros actually important for seeing results? Well, there's a specific ratio of macros that we can eat to change the composition of our bodies when we combine it with the correct calorie number. So all of that to say, basically the amount of fat you have to the ratio of muscle that you have, right? So this isn't just about losing or gaining weight, but actually getting lean, right? So many people say, I want to lose weight, right? But you want to lose weight and build muscle or keep muscle to get lean. That's what most people actually mean by that, right? Who wants to lose 30 pounds and look the exact same, right? I'd rather lose 20 pounds and look lean, so all of that just to say that's kind of what macros do specifically, is they're going to allow you to actually change the way that you look, right? Calories, weight, macros, the way that you look, right? And plus, a macro-based approach means you don't need to eliminate whole food groups, right? I've dieted in intense phases and still been able to go out to eat with my friends, like my friend Paul right here, right? I want to take you to a pizza place in Boston. All right, cool, let's go. Like, I know how to fit that into my macros for the day. And right, for most people in general, eliminating a whole food group isn't sustainable and it's not necessary, right? It just isn't necessary for most people looking to achieve fitness goals. So, the skill of tracking macros is really how you're going to learn how to eat your favorite foods while still seeing results, right? This is when my clients join my program, this is by far the most useful skill they say they gain from the program in general, right? So let's do a little bit of an example here, right? So let's say example A, this person's named Bob. He wanted to lose fat and get lean. His maintenance calories are 3,000 calories. So in scenario A, he ate 2,500 calories to start his fat loss phase, but he didn't pay attention to his macros. He only focused on how many calories he was eating, right? So this scenario, eating 2,500 calories, so he's in a deficit, but he's not paying attention to his macros. Scenario B, eating 2,500 calories, and he's tracking his macros at the same time while eating the 40% calories from carbs, 30 from fat, 30 from protein. What's the better option for losing fat and getting lean, right? Is it the one who's eating, they're both eating in a deficit, but one's tracking macros and one's not, right? So they're both eating less. That's the point. Well, I think you know. Right, scenario B is the better option because even though in both scenarios he'll lose weight because he's in a calorie deficit, right? It's not because he's cutting out his carbs or drinking the latest greens powder or whatever. It's because he's in a calorie deficit, right? If he's not getting enough protein, he'll lose muscle too, which is where the macro ratios come in, which is why just eating less is bad advice. Sure, you can lose weight. Most people don't want to lose weight. They want to lose fat, keep muscle, get lean, look good, right? So the same rules apply for gaining muscle. Just use fat loss as an example there, right? So this is just a reminder, calories and macros make up every diet, which is exactly why I don't really consider it a diet because it's just, well, you kind of need food to live, right? So here are important things to know about each macro as well, right? This is just some extra information, but each macro has a function, right? Protein is the most satiating macro, which means it'll keep you full. It has amino acids in it, which are found in proteins, which are really the building blocks of muscle as well. Carbs are our body's preferred fuel source, so using carbs around the training window is ideal for energy, even if you're losing weight, right? Most people are going to tell you, don't eat carbs. Nope. Anybody who's made a fitness transformation and now is able to stay lean knows the importance of carbs. They probably love them. Fat is important for our hormones and cells, right? This is why diets that cut out one of these macros, whether you cut out protein, fats, carbs, whatever, is just going to be unsustainable. I think going no carb is completely unsustainable, unhealthy, and not necessary to see results for most people, right? So the easiest way to use macros to change your physique is like this, right? Tracking your macros, right? You can start for free again by using MyFitnessPal. It's a free app. That's what I have my clients use, and I'm serious about this. This is literally the system that I give my clients that you can just download for free, right? Just to use the nutrition section of it, and this is how my clients are making amazing transformations. They tracking their food in their system, or they track their food in the system, and it pairs with the training system I showed you with the to-do list, right? And I'm able to look at that, and then I can help them make adjustments, right? So I help them hit their calorie and macro goals, get the maintenance number right, so they're not wasting time in the gym or in the kitchen, right? And here's a prime example of this, right? Again, Jack used this exact system when he came into the program. He wasn't confident in what he was doing in the gym or in the kitchen. He felt like he owed this to himself. He was already on his self-improvement journey. He'd stopped drinking. He was really just looking to dive into that next level of self-improvement through getting a custom system that he felt like would help get him to his goals. After using these exact systems we spoke about in the video today, he lost over 30 pounds, mastered his nutrition, overcame his gym anxiety as well, and he gained confidence to start a business. Guys, this isn't just about looking better. This is about becoming a higher performing version of yourself across all areas of life, right? Jay that I showed you, his wife, his kids are benefiting from this. He's leading his family in a health charge. Jack literally went from the guy who was anxious in the gym to the guy who's taking his mom and his friends to the gym, showing them how to work out so they can be happier, live longer, and he started his own business as a result of this. So absolutely crushing it, guys. And here's exactly how you can use this system. You can use calories and macros so you can make progress, right? This is what we went over today. Calories equal weight control. Macros equal the composition control that you're going to have. So the ratio of fat to muscle, right? So if you get those two things right and combine it with, eating the right amount of calories, the right ratio of macros, while lifting 3 to 5 times per week and doing some cardio, you'll absolutely transform. And again, guys, if you're looking for a done for you system where everything that I spoke about today is completely done for you, all you need to do is check those few boxes while being supported by a community of driven, like-minded people looking to just get to that next level in all areas of life, consider clicking that link down below and learning more about the High Performance Challenge. But guys, I want to say thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them below. reach out to me on Instagram. Obviously, YouTube channel is not huge, so I actually love interacting with people. Instagram is, where I'm super active, posting things daily. So it's just at Ryan Phipps 17, or actually it's different than my YouTube. It's at Phipps Fitness. I'll put that down in the link below. And again, if you're looking for a completely done-for-you system, join the High Performance Challenge to become unrecognizable. There are only 15 spots available for that. So whoever joins that, I am very excited to get connected with you. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for your time. Peace.